And we're back with another episode of The Endless Endeavor, a solo cast today. You guys have noticed there's been more solo casts lately than normal, and that's for good reason. And that reason is I've been busy as fuck with a lot of other aspects of life. It's crazy to think I'm coming up on episode 300 before too long. I didn't know where this journey would take me when I set out on this, and it's been 5 years now, and that's crazy. But the podcast is not something I want to lose momentum on. Ask me, it depends on the day, right? But as I look at the overall theme of this show and what it does and why it exists, it's not going anywhere. It's just in a season where I got a lot of other things going on, which we're going to get into. And so episodes will be like this, a shorter solo episode. These are going to be more common over the next couple weeks. And then hopefully we can get back to awesome guests and awesome shows like normal. But here's the deal, guys. This is a season of life. I am doing Jeremy's prosperity portfolio. I am preparing for the row. The gym is extremely busy, and you only have so much energy to allocate to so many different things. And I'm still committed to one episode a week, but there's a lot of other stuff going on, and it's exciting, and I'm leaning into it, and I'm learning new things, and I'm trying to build the future that we're all trying to build. Now, before we go into today's show, I wanted to address something that came up the other week. And this was with a group of guys in my men's group, Forge. And something that was said was, hey, you guys are really fixating on the political landscape. And I think you should just be pursuing personal excellence. It's a cool thing to say, right? Like it sounds like, yeah, like informed but not consumed is what I always say. I don't want the events that are taking place in our nation and around the world to be something that consumes me so much that I don't have the ability to pursue the things that I need to pursue, to continue to grow, continue to build, continue to create. But I also have to be realistic with myself. Why are we pursuing personal excellence? In the foundation of why we want to be fit, capable, wealthy, have strong circles of people, have capabilities, in the foundation of why we want to seek those things is what? Well, there's probably not one singular answer to that, but I would argue that we have the ability to stand up and say, no, we've had enough. And I think that for me in my community, that's why we train so hard. That's why we stay fit and active. That's why we have this powerful community of people, is because we need to be able to one day say, hey, you know what? Fuck you. We've had enough. And now what are you going to do? There was a sheriff, Keith Swank. He's I believe he's the Pierce County sheriff. Might be Thurston County. I might have got that wrong. But regardless, he's a local sheriff. He kind of told a lot of sitting members of the local government that the other week. He's like, hey, you guys are trying to create all these rules and you're trying to make these enforceable. And what he was talking about is a hiring standard for sitting sheriffs, right? You have to be able to do this and you have to be able to do that. And he's like, what they're trying to do is build a path to recall him or terminate him. And he's like, why aren't you guys held to these standards? And I'm going to let you in on a little secret. The big fat cow sitting up on the bench was the same big fat cow that was one of the people that led the charge against Zinn. And so it's like, here we are again with these just disgusting, fat, incapable, slobby women telling us what's up. And so he actually said that. You can go look it up on YouTube. It was pretty cool. He's like, hey, you know what? You can make these policies, but I'm not going to enforce them. And I'm actually going to tell my deputies to do the opposite of what you say. And then what are you going to do, huh? What are you going to do then? Do you have 1,000 people that are armed? What are you going to do? And I was like, oh, yes. Finally, someone with some balls to just say fuck you to the big fat slobby cunts. Like, dude, it's very simple. And when I run for governor one day, pull that soundbite. It says here on your podcast that you wanted to push back against, quote, slobby cunts, unquote. Yeah, I did say that. And that's also why I got elected, because everybody feels how I feel. And here's the thing, guys, when you try and protect speech, like you can't say this word, you can't say that word, that's a control mechanism. Don't fall into that game. I'll say whatever the fuck I want. And you know what? People actually like that. And people like that across a wide spectrum because it lets them know where the fuck you stand on stuff. You're not talking out of both sides of your mouth. You're not being a slimy little snake like Gavin Newsom that just says whatever's convenient at the time or whatever he thinks is going to appease people. You say the fucking truth. And you can win on truth. And I'm going to win on truth one day. And so this show is rooted in truth. It's rooted in reality. And if you're a big fucking fat slob that's fucking running your mouth about a bunch of dumb shit, we can call you that. And it's not even being derogatory. It's just being factual. And so I think you guys can hear my energy. I have good energy today. Sure, I'm calling people slobby fucking cunts, but I have good energy. And that's not, again, those titles aren't good or bad. They're just factual. You're fucking 300 pounds and you have a Jabba the Hutt quadruple chin. I can make a comment referring to that. Just like you can look at me and make a comment about me, and I don't care. But they try and protect certain people. You can't say that. And so, moving forward, for the last 300 episodes, we've said whatever the fuck we want, and we're going to continue to say whatever the fuck we want. And if anyone doesn't like it, you guys know the answer. Come fucking do something about it. Send your goons. But the reason I'm bringing this up is because just because you are pursuing excellence in your life, and if you are, I commend you, I'm proud of you, that is what we should all be doing, doesn't mean that you can't have your finger on the pulse of what's going on around you and understand the society that we inhabit. Sure, if I want to go live out in the woods and go off grid and me and Lappin have talked about this, get 50 people that are legit and go start a fucking community that is just basically untouched by modern civilization. Okay, there's a part of that sounds fun and sounds appealing. I'm not going to say it doesn't. But the truth is, as long as we are part of this game, we are players on the chessboard ourselves. We have the ability to move where we think is going to be the most and I don't mean move like geographically, I'm just saying strategically position ourselves. We have that ability because the chessboard that we occupy is where we live. And the politics of it and all the things that encompass where you live and being a part of this society, it's okay to have it be something that is on the forefront of your mind. What percentage of your energy do you give politics, the news, all the stuff that just fucking fires us up? Well, it's different for everybody. And here's why I say that. I always say, don't allow things that are outside of your control to affect you. And I think that statement probably resonates with most people, right? But what is it about that statement that makes you say you should just put your head in the sand and not have any opinions or any insight onto what's going on? Because here's the deal, guys. Don't let things that are outside of your ability to have an impact on really have like a mechanism of control over you. Well, I would argue that we each and every one of us has the potential to impact everything. I have the potential to impact everything, and so do you. The ripple effect of what you do as an individual man or woman could be the thing that changes the entire trajectory of planet Earth. Oh, that's unlikely. It probably is statistically unlikely. It doesn't mean it's not true. Single men, single women have done things throughout history that is that is the new standard. Right? That person did this, and now everything is different. Everything changes. And it can be lots of different things, guys. It could be political leadership. It could be military campaigns. It could be something as simple as the 4-minute mile. The first person to break the 4-minute mile changed humans' perspectives on what's possible. That person impacted people far and wide. That person impacted people in other countries that he probably has zero connection with outside of he's the guy that broke the 4-minute mile. And now you got some kid in Africa that says, I'm going to do that too. So don't sell yourself short. We all have the ability to cause massive impact and massive change if that's the direction we choose to take our lives. So we have the ability to impact a lot. So what does that mean? That means potentially we may have to have a lot of our energy and our attention going into the things that we hope to impact. And I fucking despise politics as much as the next person. But it impacts your fucking checkbook. It impacts your business. It impacts it literally impacts every single aspect of your life. So why not allow it to have a certain amount of your attention so maybe we can one day change it? Because if we all keep putting our heads in the sand, that's going to ensure that this corrupt, despicable system it's just a machine and the wheels just keep turning and it just fucking gobbles everything up and churns it to fucking dust. And it's going to do it to you and it's going to do it to your family one day if we don't fucking stop it. So it might be something to think about. But this episode, again, it's a short episode. We are not going to go off the rails. Angry Anderson is not going to start threatening to string up world leaders. But I want to talk about the necessity of being able to be someone that can share a wide range of emotions. We've talked about it a lot on the episode or a lot on the show over the past couple, I'd say maybe last couple months, where it's okay to be sad. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to let things bother you because those are the emotions that are going to motivate you to do something about it. Those are the emotions that's going to make you one day say, you know what, I've had a fucking enough and I'm going to draw that line in the sand. So don't think that can't be part of the energy that you carry as a human being. Just don't let it be all the energy. Still do the things that bring you joy, that bring you happiness, that bring you freedom, that bring you mobility. And I'm not just talking about doing the splits, but that is part of it. But just the ability to move throughout this world as you see fit and bring you wealth. We're going to talk about that today. The human experience is a wide array of emotions. And don't hide from any of them. And if you feel frustrated, sometimes you can say, fuck you. If you feel angry, if you feel sad, that's okay. And I think it's actually going to make us stronger, not weaker, once we can just lean into truth. And truth is, there's a wide spectrum of emotions. Growing up in the 80s, there wasn't a wide spectrum of emotions. Men were this, moms were like that. And that's kind of what it was. And if we hope to change the trajectory of this world, I think we're going to have to lean into some change. And it should excite you. So what do we want to focus on today? I got a couple things I want to talk about. First and foremost, I'm in the process of listening to a book. The book was recommended to me by Jeremy Newsom, who is my wealth coach and my fucking homie. I love that guy. And the book is called Love Money, Money Loves You by Sarah McCrum. And you might want to be a little woo-woo before you pick this book up because it's more about the power of manifestation than how to hedge your funds and do this and invest and open a business and how to become an entrepreneur, all that shit, right? Like, yes, there's time for all of that. But what this book talks about is real wealth is a mindset more than any of those other things. Real wealth is freedom. Real wealth gives you the ability to live the life that you want to live. And it is a mindset more than a mechanism or more than a specific set of rules to follow. It's a mindset. And that mindset is this: believe you are worth it. That's the biggest thing. We are all our own worst enemies. I've been my worst enemy at many times in my life, and I probably will be again at some point. But even though I am not out of the woods yet in a way where I can say like, I'm 100% happy with how I'm carrying myself as a man. No, I still got work to do. And we probably will always have work to do. But one thing that I can say, regardless if you catch me on a good day or a bad day, the truth is I know I am a person of value. I know I am a person of worth. I know what I provide to people enriches their life. Therefore, I am giving something. I'm not taking. I am here to give. Now, if you are here to give and you believe you have worth and you believe you have value, the only way that transaction can take place in an sitting in energetic truth is a transaction, a gift for a gift. And it doesn't, and when we think of money, we think of wealth, we literally will close our eyes and we'll picture gold coins or literal $100 bills. Again, wealth is an energy. Wealth is a mindset. It's not little pieces of paper that say 100 on them. Now, sure, you want to dissect it and get into the nuances. Yes, I understand what fucking money is, and so do you. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is don't get fixated on the pieces of paper that represent a certain amount of quote unquote money. Fixate on what your value is and how much value you are bringing people. And once you know and you believe that you are a person of value, that you deserve wealth, you deserve happiness, you deserve the freedom and the mobility, the things that we're talking about, you deserve prosperity. And if you believe that in your heart, that's step one. Because if you don't believe it, if you're sitting with imposter syndrome, which I sat with for plenty of time in different capacities of my life. I was an Army Ranger. I was a good Army Ranger, but I wasn't the best. And when I could see the other guys that could run faster than me or do more push-ups than me or whatever the case may be, there's always a part of me that's kind of like, fuck, man, I wish I was that good. Now, that can go two ways. That can inspire you to be better, or it can now make you start to feel like you are less than. And if you're feeling like you are less than, and you're feeling like imposter syndrome has the reins of your life, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy, and you will never be the person you're truly supposed to be because you have a diminished sense of self-worth of who you are as an individual person, what skills you bring to the table, what energy you bring to the table. And let me be clear again, guys. Self-worth and self-value doesn't mean you're fucking Mr. Happy-go-lucky all the time. I'm not. I hope to move more towards that. But 2025 was tough. And talking to people that listen to the show, I don't think I'm alone in that. 2025 was a tough year for a lot of people. But just because it kind of kicked you in the balls and it kind of sucked and you went through some tough times like I did, just because that is a truth of what transpired in your life, it doesn't mean that you are not a person of great worth, great value, and that you don't deserve to grow and expand and become better. Here's the deal, though. If you sit in that negative energy where you feel like you don't deserve to expand, you don't deserve to grow, you aren't good enough, you aren't a person of great value. If that's a story you tell yourself, you will maintain being a person of low value because you are in charge. If that's a truth or if that's a bullshit story you tell yourself, you are in charge of that. So the stories we tell ourselves ultimately lead to our reality. And that right there is the power of manifestation. And you can say whatever the fuck you want about it, but the most successful people I know swear by it. They swear by it. Now, it's almost like the chicken or the egg argument, right? It's like, okay, I believe I am a person of value. So now I let myself grow into a person of value. Now, why did that happen? Did it happen because you believed? And once you believe, you walk a path that now allows you to become what you want to become? Or is it some bigger universal law that allows you to literally manifest things from the cosmos? Or is it a combination of both? The truth is, I don't fucking know, and you don't fucking know either, even though you may think you know. We don't really know. I think it's very difficult to think that we have everything on an energetic field that we can't even see, touch. It's outside of our capacity to interact with it with our five senses. I think you can have an understanding of what's going on, but none of us have it nailed down. I think if we had it nailed down, we probably wouldn't be here. And so listen to that book and manifest belief that you deserve it. The only way you're going to tell yourself you deserve it is if you believe you are doing the right things in life, you are putting in the work, you're being a good person, you're living in accordance to the moral code that you have set for yourself, and you do all these things. I think losing is almost impossible. I truly believe that. And that's where we're going. Now, since we're on the topic of woo-woo, let's talk about why 2025 was so hard. Well, it was the year of the snake, the wood snake, to be precise. And, I don't know if I'm going to tell you right now, I don't think that I do fully believe the Chinese zodiac. And that is not an ad, but I am drinking a grapefruit salt element that has 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. And these are designed to be used during or after rigorous physical activities or when you're podcasting about the fire horse. So, yeah, I'm not a believer in the Chinese zodiac, but I also am not a disbeliever because there's a lot of interesting things. And when I just listened to a podcast on this one, and it talked about the year of the snake, wrapping up a 9-year cycle where you were finally able to release some of the toxic aspects of your life that were holding you back. Now, I know, like, when you start dealing with psychics or fucking fortune cookies, anyone can read anything and be like, that's me. That's fucking me. Well, when I heard that, I said, that's me. Like, to a fucking T, to the years. And we've talked about it on the show. I have made a massive transition, and I let go of some things that I had to let go of. I had to. I was stuck, and I had to step outside of some of the things that were really keeping me in a holding pattern. And I feel like coming out of this year, I've finally been able to shed a lot of that stuff. Will I ever shed all of it? I think the answer to that is no. As I sit here right now, I think the answer to that is no. And it's because when you have important relationships and important endeavors and things that have really taken a massive amount of commitment from you and a massive amount of engagement, and then they fall apart, man, that's hard. There's always going to be a part of me that looks back on 2025 and some of the things that I went through with my family, and it's going to hurt. And I think it's probably going to hurt forever. That doesn't mean that you can't move past it, though. That doesn't mean you can't move on. And so, we've talked about it on the show before. I forget the exact verbiage that I used, but I think we should know our past. I think we should appreciate our past. I think sometimes we can even sit with our past and reflect, but I don't think we should dwell on it. And that's coming from a guy that did a lot of dwelling in 2025. Coulda, shoulda, woulda's. Probably consumed more of my time than I would like to admit. And the thing that sucks about it for me, a lot of it's in the shower, a lot of it's in bed, where I should be just relaxing and kind of fucking allowing my body to process the day and then recharge for the next day. Or in the case of the shower, start the day. Wash away the bullshit and start the day. But those are the two places where I did a lot of reflection, and sometimes reflection hurts. But what I would say is throughout the duration of this year, and especially at the conclusion of this year, I've moved into a place where I feel very content, not only with the decisions and the actions that I took, but kind of knowing that I had to. You know, sometimes as men, especially wild fucking men like us, sometimes you have to kind of blow things up for it to be real. And sometimes we pick that nuclear option, and it seems destructive at the time. But in order to rebuild and start over, sometimes you got to fucking blow everything up. And that's exactly what I did. And now it took a year. And I'm able to fucking drop all that shit, shed that skin, leave that behind as I move into the next phase of life. What's the next phase? Well, if we're talking about the Chinese zodiac, it's the fire horse. Year of the fire horse, or the red horse. And fuck, dude. Just think about what is a horse? When you think about a horse galloping or sprinting, it's fucking majestic. It's fast. It's powerful. It's movement. It's direction. Horses have both been symbolically and literally used as a source of power. Military campaigns. Like, think the people that had mounted cavalry versus the ones that didn't wasn't even up for debate how that was going to play out. The horse is a force multiplier. The horse gives you freedom, gives you prosperity, mobility, direction, strength, speed, all those things. So now you're sitting here saying, I think the Chinese zodiac is stupid. Well, would you agree that moving into 2026, thinking of yourself as a person that's going to really lean into power and direction and speed and mobility and freedom, does that sound bad to you? Because it doesn't sound bad to me at all. In fact, it sounds fucking amazing. And that's what this year is going to be. I have so many things that are happening. 2026 is going to be a year that changes the trajectory of my life. 2026 is going to be a year that really puts me on a path and on a trajectory that is going to get me where I need to get to. And I know that. The row is part of that. The row is 100% part of that. But here's the thing. The red horse associated with passion, innovation, breaking old patterns, starting new. It's not the calendar year of January 1st, 2026. The lunar new year actually happens on February 17th of 2026. So if you haven't felt that shift yet from purging old shit, moving into new beginnings, give it a couple weeks. And you know what? Fucking tell yourself. Say, I am going to feel it, and I am going to lean into it, and I am going to fucking start to intentionally find more direction, more innovation, breaking the old patterns and starting new. And that's what we have to be doing. We have to be doing that. Why? Because the universe, by the nature of what it is always expanding. It's expansion. Everything that we are, everything that we do, everything that we can interact with is expansive. It's always expanding. So guess what? If you're not expanding too, you're going to fucking get left in the dust. You're stuck. So what do you have to do to be part of that expansion? All those things. All those things. Lean into intense energy. Lean into transformation. Lean into bold actions. And lean in to things that are going to serve you. The equal and opposite side of that is lean out of the things that aren't serving you. And we already touched on in the beginning. I'm not saying don't scroll Instagram or watch Fox News sometimes. Maybe we need to have a little bit of that. Maybe that is actually leaning in to the transformation. Because we have to know what's next. We have to know where we're operating. What I'm saying is what I lean into and what you lean into might not be the same things because they're not going to serve us the same. If you're trying to be the governor, you better lean into politics, right? But if you're trying to raise a family in the mountains of Montana and be off grid, nothing could be further from the truth. So challenge yourself. Literally, look yourself in the mirror and say, what, based on who I am, what I'm doing now, and where I hope to be, what am I leaning into? What bold action are you going to take this year? That's the fucking question of the podcast. What bold action? It's easy to take action, but what fucking bold action have you taken? When have you said, you know what? Fuck no. This is how it's going to be now. This is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm going to change. A bold action. I challenge you. Find that. Associate it with your passion. Break the patterns that are keeping you from doing so. And here's the thing, to go back to that money book. If we believe that we are in the ever-expanding universe, well, then that means that there's enough for everybody. There's enough good to go around, and it's ever-expanding. So take what's yours. Take what you deserve. Get what you came for. Get what you want. When did that become a bad thing? Pursue what the fuck you want. Oh, well, I'm not materialistic. I don't want a nice car. You got a bunch of kids and dogs and you have to drive around all the time and you have to go to gymnastics and you have to go to cheer and you have to go to school and you have to go to work. So you're spending how many hours a day in your car? And why don't you deserve to have one that you like? That is comfortable, that looks nice, that you look at your car and you say, yeah, dude, I like that. I think your car is actually a reflection of you. You know how they say your dog is a reflection of you? And mine is. We'll get into that because Govan is me. I don't think he's a reflection of me. I think he is me. But, you drive up to a four-way stop and the car across the intersection is a 1987 Mercury Topaz with a busted headlight and all the paint is all fucking corroded and they have their whole car filled with garbage. You guys, everybody's seen these. And they just have this they're almost encapsulated in trash, but they got this little area around where they can sit and they can hold on to the steering wheel. And they're all pushed up close to the windshield. Because it's just trash. You tell me that car isn't a reflection of that person's own assessment of value. That's how they feel about themselves. They feel like a big piece of trash. And so they surround themselves with trash. Because here's the deal. Oh, well, I don't have money for a nice car. It doesn't cost money to clean your car up, to wash the tires, to get that stuff called back to black at Shucks Auto Supply, and it takes like 10 years off the life of your car. And you rub it on all the plastic and you rub it on the seams, and your shit can look nice almost immediately. Your car is a reflection of you. Why don't you deserve a nice car? It's because you're telling yourself you don't deserve it. Now, some people want a Ferrari. I don't want a Ferrari. Your car is a reflection of you. The person that wants the Ferrari, maybe that's a reflection of where they're at. But for me, kids, dogs, hiking, shooting, bow hunting, forerunner. It does the things I need it to do, and it does it well, and I enjoy using that when I'm fucking navigating around this planet. So stop telling yourself you don't deserve it, or even worse, because I don't deserve it. That's making a direct understanding with yourself that you think you aren't valuable enough to have this. You do need to stop that too. But you know what's worse is when you look at other people. Must be nice. Because now you're not saying you don't deserve it, but you're coming to the same conclusion. You're diminishing your own value and saying that if somebody wants something nice, they're actually a shitty person. Since when did we associate being a shitty person with acquiring things that make you enjoy life? You know, we're talking about horses. A couple hundred years ago, your car was your horse. Should you have had a nice horse? A strong, healthy, vibrant fucking horse that can get you where you need to be, that's capable of long bouts of travel? Of course you should. Why wouldn't you want that? Maybe you think you don't deserve it. So think about that, guys. If you don't think you deserve a nice car, a nice house, a nice wife, a nice family, a nice career, a nice jiu-jitsu academy, a nice circle of friends. If you feel you don't deserve that, why? Because that thing is that why that you need to uncover, that's what's holding you back. Once you uncover that, you can start the trajectory that's going to take you where you want to get to. I feel like it's a never-ending journey. I'll be 75 years old sitting here telling you guys the same thing. But I do believe I will be light years ahead of where I am right now, just like I am light years ahead of where I am even as recent as 2020. When I lost my job as a cop and I started over, oh, well, that's because you got to go fund me, Greg. That was easy for you, but for me, it's going to be hard. Yeah, motherfucker. You know why I got that GoFundMe? Because I called it in energetically by standing in truth and believing in myself. So that shit actually supports everything we're saying today. Doesn't detract from what we're saying at all. But regardless of that or not, we should be fucking doing the things we need to do. So each and every year, we grow a little bit, we become better, we expand. What is holding you back? Question number 2 of the day. What is it that's holding you back? You don't need to go out in the jungle and drink ayahuasca to know what's holding you back. We all know. Ask yourself, give yourself an honest answer, and then now start thinking about what you can do to change it. I think a lot of people don't even have a good enough relationship with themselves to ask hard questions. I talk to myself all the fucking time. I don't think that makes me nuts. I think that's a very natural part of being a human being. You have to have a relationship with yourself, and you have to be honest, and you have to know where you're winning, and you have to know where you're being a piece of shit too. All these things are real. All right, so where does that leave us today? Actually, I should say this. The last thing I want you guys to think about when it comes to prosperity, wealth, growing, becoming powerful. What do you want to leave in this world? What do you want to be your mark? Long after you're gone, what do you want people to say? Man, that motherfucker. I can't believe when he did this, when he did that. All the things that you want to change in this world become easier with wealth, not harder. So have enough to give it away if that's what you want to do. Have enough to innovate the things that you want to innovate if that's what you want to do. Have enough to change the world in the way that you want to change the world. And I don't know if that's a number, a certain amount of zeros behind a number, but it's a concept and it's a mindset. You deserve enough to change the world in the way that you want to change it. And if you believe that, it's going to be truth. And I already know it because it's already happening for me. All right. So I told you I'd talk to you about Govan as we wrap this up. 8 weeks of challenging me around pretty much every corner, bowing up on me. I get up to piss in the night and he's fucking going. And I'm like, fuck, dude. I can't even piss at 3 a.m. without being put in fight or flight. Not that I thought he was going to fight me, but you know how it is. Like even the thought or the posturing of a potential encounter. Now I'm not relaxed. Now I'm wide the fuck awake. And as quick as it came on, it left. And you know, we had Jen on and she came down. She helped tremendously. She worked with Govan on a lot of things. But I can tell you, when he energetically shifted back to his old ways, it was like a moment. And here's the weird thing, guys. Some of you guys might call bullshit on this. You can fucking ask my wife next time you see her. I was starting to get depressed, guys. I was starting to lose hope. And it's all encompassing of what we've talked about. 2025 was not my favorite year. I lost a lot in 2025. And Govan came into my life and he filled a void that felt like a fucking cavern. And he felt like we became best friends. We were always together. We were always doing things. He was always present and we loved each other and it was awesome. And then suddenly it's like he didn't want to be around me anymore. He was annoyed by me and he was even aggressive towards me quite a bit. And it's just day in and day out, day in and day out. And after a month or two, I think it was 6 to 8 weeks, I told Jenny, I said, oh, I can't keep living like this. I said, my house has to be my sanctuary. I can be a motherfucker everywhere else on planet Earth. I can be ready to go. I can be this, I can be that. But when I'm in my own fucking bedroom, I need to be able to just go, oh, yes, I'm home. Guys, if home doesn't feel safe and home doesn't feel relaxing, you got to do some changing at home. And my home did not feel that way because everywhere I fucking looked, that dog was sitting there challenging me. And I remember one day, he was particularly perturbed by me, and we were butting heads on everything. And bro, it made me sad, hurt my feelings. It made me like, it kind of put me in a funk because it's like, man, even my dog, dude, even my fucking dog can't figure out a way to fucking love me and get along with me and maintain a friendship with me. Whose dog turns on him, right? Like it felt dark. And one day it was particularly bad. And I said to Jenny as we were going to bed, I said, you know what? I've been in a real funk all day because of how many times he's challenged me and how many times he's shown me aggression. I said, my goal for tomorrow, I don't care how he shows up. I know how I'm going to show up. And how I'm going to show up is I'm not going to let external things in my life, him being one of them, dictate how I feel about the day. Tomorrow, I'm literally changing how I feel, and I'm going to maintain that regardless of how he is. Wake up the next day, he jumps in the car, we go to the gym. I'm sitting in the exact same chair I'm sitting in now, sitting in the studio, in the chair that I record, and he walks over and just bites my arm. But he's not being a dick. It's a bite. It was like a truce. Because for these 2 months, he wouldn't even play with me. I could throw a ball. He wouldn't even fucking go catch it. He's like, man, fuck you. I don't want to play with you. He came over and bit me and looked at me, and he was back. His eyes were back, and his tail started wagging. And I was like, dude, you're biting me? You want to play? You want a roughhouse? Fuck yeah, let's go. Good boy. And ever since then, we're back. I think that's probably been 2 weeks now, maybe a week and a half, and fully back. So I don't know what the fuck that was all about. My wife tells me I had to learn that lesson. I had to make the decision to stop letting external circumstances affect what's going on internally. And I mean, maybe I just needed to read what was Alexander Solzhenitsyn's book where he talked about the Gulag Archipelago, where he talked about being in a cell that was like 1 foot by 1 foot by 6 feet. So you can't even sit. You just have to stand. And he said, like, I reached a point where no external circumstances could change how I feel internally because that's my choice. And that's the one thing I get control over. Easy thing to say, easy thing to write in a book, easy thing to say on a podcast that we're trying to be motivational, real hard fucking thing to do in real life. Real hard thing to do in real life. And so when something that is as important to you as your dog is now interjecting conflict into your life, for me, it was a tough phase, but I do think that was the lesson. He was pushing me, bringing me down. And when I chose to no longer allow him to do that, he goes, good job. We're back, homie. So pretty fucking crazy. Other than that, the row, the fucking mission moves on. We're slotted to leave. Hopefully May 5th through the 10th is what we're shooting for. I think some of the guys on the team might want to push it a little earlier to the 1st, but regardless, 1st or 2nd week of May is when we're leaving. Training has slowed down a little bit just because I'm dealing with some, I'm always injured. That's just part of being a 45-year-old jiu-jitsu athlete. But I'm finding my rhythm where I can train a lot and still feel good. But every time I go back to the mats, something stupid happens. And so and again, it happened again last night, happened a week ago. Because I tell myself, well, this guy's not a dangerous role. He's a good training partner. He'll take care of me, and he's safe. He's technical. Let's get a great round of jiu-jitsu in. But you could be going with your best partners, your most technical, your most aware, and jiu-jitsu can happen, man. And it's happened twice now, where it's like pop, twang, fuck, dude. And so I'm not going to make any absolute commitments, but jiu-jitsu has slowed down dramatically, and it probably is going to slow down a little more. That doesn't mean the gym's slowing down, though. I'm still coaching. I'm still in the energy. I'm still on the mats. Last night was one of my favorite classes that we've had in months. I probably had 50 people on the mats, good technical training, good hard rounds of rotation, and then fucking watching the team get after it. It's fucking magic. It's what it is. Started getting acupuncture. I've been taking some other supplements, doing the peptides. Got off HGH because it was making my hands hurt too bad. So I'm taking 10 days off, and then I'm going to get back on, but I'm going to do a fraction of the dose. For those of you that know HGH dosage, I was doing 5 IUs a day, and most people that hear that are like, what the fuck are you talking about? It's a bodybuilder dose. It is. It was aggressive as fuck. But it was aggressive as fuck because I'm trying to make massive changes in my physiology. I'm trying to get my body strong as fuck before we leave. So I'm literally going to get back on, and I'll be doing less than half of that. And then obviously the 157, the TB500, the GHK, all of the healing peptides are still a go. And then I just got something, let's see. I'm going to fuck it up. Not resveratrol. It was something that was like it's called dragon's blood. Have you guys ever heard of that? I've used dragon's blood plenty for like topical treatments, but I haven't used it for internal treatment. So let me Google it real quick. Dragon's blood supplement, and bear with me because I want you guys to hear this. Dun, dun, dun. All right, here it is. It is called Resinol K. And Resinol K is something that I think you can use it topically, but you can also ingest it. And I'm telling you guys, I started taking it, and I felt so much better the day I started taking it. So that's something to look out for. It's fucking Chinese woo-woo medicine. But like I always say, I don't believe in anything unless it has a double-blind, placebo-controlled studies done. This shit's 3,000 years old. Shut the fuck up, right? Like, Why do we believe that the only thing that works is new stuff made by Big Pharma? Well, I'll tell you why, because we've all been fucking brainwashed. So I'm trying acupuncture. I'm trying this Resinol K, and I'm telling you what, I really like this stuff. And so training continues. The path continues. The open ocean awaits, and I cannot fucking wait to get in that boat and start rowing to Hawaii with the homies. It shows up February 2nd, so the boat will be here probably shortly after this podcast drops. You'll start seeing training footage and really getting to be along for the journey. I want to really start documenting this. Will's on board. He's our media guy. He's going to be a big part of that. But, and then lastly, book is done, guys. The last thing we're doing on the book, literally yesterday, I was talking about how we are going to format the title on the spine of the book, right? So we're down to the wire, and we got probably a couple more days of what's called formatting. Front cover's done. We're doing the spine, back cover's done. All the editing, all the internal formatting, fucking done. It's crazy. It's here. So when the book drops, I am going to ask you guys a favor. I've been doing the show for 5 years. I would love if you guys would support it by doing this. Buy 2 copies. One for yourself and one as a gift for somebody that you think would resonate with the type of people that we are and the message that we push. And then also, guys, go to Amazon and give it a 5-star review. Oh, well, don't tell people how to review your book. Just recommend they review. No. If you're going to give it a shitty review, just stay away. This is for people that are on the same trajectory as me, that hold a similar belief structure as me. And we're trying to make the world a better place. And a 5-star review really helps the book grow, and it helps become a book that's recommended by Amazon. So more on that as we get closer, but obviously as that comes down the pipe, I appreciate any support. Other than that, guys, have a fucking awesome week, and let's go start the year of the fire horse.